Hello everyone. Sorry I've been absent for a few weeks, but I've had some other things I've been working on for the past few weeks. Some music production for someone I'll feature on the channel soon. Here's a quick listen to parts of her most recent song we've produced together.
Run the map, test your faith, meditate and pray that your heart is a compass. You burn the map, you find a place.
Amongst the songs by her pen that I produce, she on occasion sings one of my songs, and they become part of her catalogue, I guess. And that's the other song that we did over the past few weeks.
She's like the wall, all her friends will testify. Got a place where the spirit melts her name. Came to help, not everything is simple things. But she's got a breath, the blood and the death, and she blew from the nails.
The other thing that had me busy was a rebuild of my sim racing setup so that it's much sturdier than before. So anyway, that's what's kept me busy in that time. Is that a crime? No, it's not, is it? But I'll tell you what is a crime. Crime. Matt Walsh did a video last week regarding a guy who was another one of these 20-plus felony conviction types that, despite 20-plus felony convictions, was out walking the streets again because judges wouldn't want to put criminals in jail or anything. So he's walking down the street yabbering his psychobabble to himself, and a woman passes him on the pavement. This is what he does.
July 21st, the second one, my son was real crib from the Southside Apartments, all that. Now, what I told you, Donald Trump, this Dale Earnhardt, all that you waiting for, but you killing my kid and the tapes and everywhere, that's the real issue. That's the real issue. That's the real issue. That's the real issue. And you sitting here playing with me, that's the real issue. July 21st is the real issue. July 21st, that's the real issue. Nah, don't wave to me. You still talking? You still talking? July 21st? Say Elijah! Say Elijah! Elijah, my son! You playing? You playing? You glasses, that's what you do? What you do? Kill you. What's up? What's up? Come here.
No, fuck this guy. He's forfeit. The video goes on to speak with his sister, who talks about his history of mental health issues and supposed schizophrenia, of course. She doesn't defend his actions, I should note. But whatever it is about this guy, I don't care. According to Matt Walsh's account of this guy at least, he seems to only target defenceless women who happen to not be black. So he's sane enough and coward enough to reason who he wants to sucker punch for no reason at all. And here's the thing. This guy's not even supposed to be walking around. Now, apparently I got it wrong when I said he had over 20 felonies. It was actually over a dozen arrests. Not quite sure where I got that from, but sorry about that. But still, he's been arrested more than a dozen times. Imagine how much shit he's done to people where he hasn't been caught or nothing's come of it. Anyway, here's a guy who I'm not sure who he is, but he's investigated this arsehole's recent court and jail history, and this is what he discovered.
So I've obtained all of the arrest records for Daquan Hunt, the man who was brutally beating white women in Charlotte, North Carolina last week. And I want you to tell me if you notice any sort of a pattern here. Okay. So December 2012, Hunt is arrested for assault on a female. Case is dismissed. July 2017, Hunt is also arrested for assault on a female. Case is dismissed. That same month, he's arrested for violating a domestic violence protective order. Case is dismissed. November 17, 2017, Hunt is arrested for assault on a female again. Case is dismissed again. That same month again, another domestic violence protective order violation. Case is dismissed. January 2018, another domestic violence protective order violation. Case is dismissed. So, just so you're counting, 6 cases, all 6 violence against women or domestic violence protective orders, 6 dismissals.
Okay, I've misspoken a couple of times in this vid, so let's straighten that out. I earlier referred to him as a 20 felony type and should have stopped there rather than going on to say despite him having 20 felonies, which wasn't correct. Now, just before, I said his recent arrest history, but as you just heard, I should have said his arrest record since he turned 18. Sorry about that. Come on, Gary, get it together. Psh, 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 psh. Having said that, I suppose it doesn't really change the fact that he's just a piece of shit, does it? Now, a great point that Matt Walsh spoke at length about was the premise of comparing the two people in the scenario and asking his audience, and by extension society, which of these two people, and let me put this in my own words, not Matt's, which of these two people belongs in society and which one doesn't. What you don't really see in this scumbag's own recording of his assaults on women is that she's walking along carrying a get-well-soon balloon and on her way to visit a sick friend and show how much she cares for someone in that moment of her life. And as she passes a black guy in the street, even though she's not black herself, she waves hello, just a nice person who even makes an effort to be pleasant to passers-by. On the other hand, we have the violent thug that hides behind the veil of mental illness so that he can exercise what he perceives as his right to assault smaller, weaker female strangers for no reason whatsoever. Sorry, but I'm just so over modern Western society's apparent attitude of treating mental illness as a mitigating factor in crime rather than what it really is, an aggravating factor. Is there not the question of which is truly more dangerous, a person who commits acts of violence intelligently or someone with no control over their propensity for violence? I'm not a mental health industry person, as some of my viewers may be, and they may have vastly differing views on the subject than me, and I'm digressing a little, so I'll leave that discussion for later. What I wanted to ponder on in this video is what I think society should be doing with Mr. Random Woman-Beating Psycho. I ask this because I have trouble witnessing what he does to defenceless strangers and imagine that he's in any way redeemable as a human being. I would have no problem as a judge in putting this guy in a cage for life if that option were available. My only problem would be that it would be a waste of a perfectly good cage and the resources required to clothe, feed and secure this miscreant for the rest of his life. It makes me ask the question, should we even be keeping people like him alive? What's the point? What's his value to the world? What I'm getting at is that even if you're not destined to leave to history the gift of music, say, or risk your life to see mankind stand on another world, even if all you do is spend your entire life doing nothing exceptional, working, raising kids, paying taxes, and obeying laws and not harming others, of course, then you've contributed something to the furtherment of society. You don't have to be a legend, you just don't have to be a cunt. I fail to see how this guy can be of any net benefit to society, short of being put on a chain gang and made to do public works. I'm going to argue here that if you're not going to, let's say, terminate guys like this, then the law should make that their destiny, not just being allowed to walk free again. Anyway, just getting back to this guy's supposed schizophrenia again. Have you ever noticed that schizos always have the voices in their heads told them to do it thing going when they're boiling body parts, sexually abusing their neighbour's dog or punching strangers in the street? The voices in their heads never seem to tell them to start a community garden, join a book club, or clean up mum's backyard for her. Yeah, the voices in your head, your mental health issues, whatever you want to call it, are always telling you to do something shit to someone, aren't they? Just saying. Anyway, just to finish up, I started out this video talking about what I've been busy doing for the past few weeks, and if my friend Anne, who I produce for, sees this video, she may think, yeah, put our music in a video about a scumbag criminal who beats women. Yeah, thanks, Gary. Nice segue. But it does make for something of a timeline comparison, doesn't it? I spent the past few weeks making music and rebuilding my sim rig. This guy spent the past few weeks walking the streets and bashing women. I still think I'm the better person.